So it's been a while since I did a YouTube video. Been a while since this bike has been out. I just got a HPI throttle body, HPI air cleaner, HPI long exhaust, and then I did a S&S oil pump, S&S cam plate, and a Woods 22XD cam in it, all done by Salter Speed Shop. The bike ended up making 119 horsepower and 124 foot-pounds of torque, and this is what it sounds like now. There's a complete cold start. Haven't started the bike since a couple days ago. I don't know if it comes through, but it sounds like a like a 80s muscle car, 70s muscle car. If anybody ever owned an old Camaro or an old Chevelle. I really like the combination. Although my wife did say that it's a little bit hotter now because the pipe doesn't have any type of a heat shield on it whatsoever. The other thing that I did is I added some floorboard extensions. If you look down there, you'll see this little 1-inch tab, or 3/4 of an inch, to move my floorboard out away from the exhaust. If I had left it the way that it was, man, it was like less than 1/8 of an inch between the floorboard and the exhaust system. You'll see once it gets warmed up, it gets a really good cam lope to it. Take her for a quick rip. It completely changed the attitude of the bike. It's all tuned with a power vision, so I no longer have a well, I don't have a warranty. I never cared about the warranty in the first place, but it no longer has a speed limiter. So it'll bury the speedometer, and I believe that the red line has probably been increased a small bit. Not that it matters. It doesn't really make much horsepower after 6,000 RPM anyhow. The other thing I have is, you'll see that I didn't plug my phone in, but yet I still have CarPlay, and that's because down in here I have this little box that allows me to do Bluetooth. Let's see, so this little box here, C plate to air, works perfect with the Harley. I've had zero issues with it. So you can see I can hit up Waze and it all shows up. Hit up music from my phone, text messages, all that stuff is right there. Yeah, completely changed the attitude of the bike. It actually feels like everything is just so much tighter now. Although I still think there's a lot of slop in the throttle compared to, I used to have a Ducati 1199R, and I really miss that type of throttle response. That was like from 10 miles an hour to 100 on a bagger. The guy at the shop, I was originally going to do a Star Racing 3030, but man, they're so hard to get a hold of with all the parts that you need to get with it. I ended up buying a kit from Fuel Moto that had all the push rods and lifters and all that stuff, because if you went to buy it separately, you had to wait. So I ended up with the XD, the Woods XD, instead of the Star 3030. Yeah, turned out really nice for a relatively inexpensive upgrade. I thought it would be a lot more. I ended up paying, I want to say $1,700 for the parts and $800 and something for all the labor, including the dyno tune and the cam install. So worked out real well, although I already had the Power Vision and the license when I did it, so I didn't have to pay for that licensing fee. This will be how I roll through the summer, and then come winter I'll figure out what'll come next. Although the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to get the Harley fan and oil cooler, just to kind of proactively start trying to keep the engine a bit cooler. Yeah, I really like the pipe. It's not obnoxiously loud, but it's not quiet either by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's probably the same volume as a Bassani Road Rage or any of the other long 2-in-1 pipes. I don't think there's going to be much noticeable difference unless you rip the baffle out of one of those. Yeah, there you have it. It added a ton of pep to the bike. It's by no stretch of the imagination what I would call a performance bagger. A bunch of friends have 143s and a couple of them have 131s, and then and I have a S&S 124 in my Street Glide that all are much more horsepower and torque than this, but they all have a lot more invested in them too. And it looks like they're getting ready to open the pool. But there you have it, guys. Now that it's been warmed up, you can really hear the cam lobe now for sure.